18th-century North America was not the pastoral landscape of golden cornfields and peaceful towns we often imagine. It was a place where a glass of water could kill you. Streams near settlements were frequently contaminated with waste and bacteria. The concept of disease-causing microorganisms was not widely understood before the 19th century. Long before the work of Louis Pasteur shaped modern germ theory, people did not know precisely why drinking water could lead to diarrhea, fever, or even death. They only understood one thing: unboiled water was a gamble. The paradoxical solution was beer. Brewing required boiling wort, a step that unintentionally killed most bacteria. The low alcohol content in small beer, a light brew common during colonial times, further inhibited microbial growth. In many cases, beer was safer than water. Within that context, root beer was not born as a soft drink. It emerged as a biological water filtration system, a non-alcoholic variation of a survival strategy. Instead of relying on ethanol, it relied on herbs and sugar, two elements that enhanced flavor while also improving preservation. To understand how a root-based beverage evolved into an industrial icon, we must begin with indigenous knowledge, when root beer was not a product, but wisdom. Long before brand labels and bottling lines, root beer existed as a collection of household recipes. Native American communities had used sassafras and sarsaparilla roots for centuries before Europeans arrived on the continent. Sassafras contains essential oil rich in safrole, a compound with a sweet, slightly spicy warmth. Safrole has an aromatic ring structure that allows it to evaporate easily and activate olfactory receptors. But beyond aroma, indigenous communities believed it could cleanse the blood and restore vitality. While that idea does not align precisely with modern medical language, we might interpret it as an early recognition of its mild diuretic and circulatory stimulating effects. Sarsaparilla contains natural saponins, compounds that create foam and possess mild antimicrobial properties. When roots were boiled in water, people unintentionally extracted substances that improved flavor and extended shelf life. This was not superstition. It was experimental chemistry before chemistry had a name. In this early period, root beer was liquid medicine, a hybrid between folk healing and survival necessity. It was not meant for casual enjoyment. It functioned as part of an early public health system. Then, in the 19th century, one man recognized its commercial potential. In 1876, at the Centennial Exposition in Philadelphia, a young pharmacist named Charles Hires introduced a new product, Hires Root Beer. He did not invent the root drink. He redefined it. Hires understood something crucial about market psychology. The word beer suggested maturity, masculinity, and social pleasure. Yet his product contained no alcohol. By attaching the word beer to an herbal beverage, he created a linguistic Trojan horse. He was not selling medicine. He was not merely selling refreshment. He was selling a beer-like experience that was safe for families and aligned with the growing temperance movement. At the time, the temperance movement, which advocated limiting alcohol consumption, was spreading across the United States. Hires Root Beer offered a compromise. It preserved the ritual of drinking beer while eliminating intoxication. The brilliance of this marketing strategy lay in its subtlety. It did not confront traditional beer directly. It changed the definition of beer. In doing so, root beer stepped out of the pharmacy and into mass consumer culture. When the 18th Amendment took effect in 1920, the United States entered prohibition. The production and sale of alcoholic beverages were banned. The social consequences were complex. Black markets flourished and organized crime expanded. But alongside these disruptions, a quieter cultural shift was taking place. Soda fountains began appearing in pharmacies and department stores. They did more than sell soft drinks. They created new social spaces. Root beer, with its thick foam and robust flavor, became a perfect substitute. It preserved the ritual, the clinking glasses, the gathering of friends without breaking the law. Systemically, this marked a turning point. Root beer was no longer a remnant of folk medicine or simply a clever marketing concept. It became social infrastructure. The rise of brands like A&W restaurants standardized both the recipe and the experience. An A&W counter did not just serve beverages. It offered a place where teenagers could meet and families could gather without stepping into a bar. In the legal desert of Prohibition, root beer was a lawful oasis. And when Prohibition ended in 1933, the habit did not disappear. It had already woven itself into the social fabric. Over time, the diverse household recipes of root beer were absorbed into industrial production lines. Large brands such as Mug Root Beer and A&W created uniform products that could be replicated anywhere. Standardization brought clear advantages: food safety, consistent flavor, scalable production. But it also erased local variation. Previously, regions might adjust the proportions of sassafras, vanilla, or wintergreen according to local taste. After standardization, a bottle of root beer tasted the same from California to Maine. This reflects the logic of modern industry: reduce variability to maximize efficiency. Root beer transformed from a flexible expression of folk knowledge into a manufacturing standard. It adapted to distribution networks, television advertising, and supermarket shelves. In the process, it lost some of its spontaneity. Yet that very adaptability ensured its survival. The history of root beer is not merely the story of a beverage. It is a story about the ability to redefine identity in response to political, medical, and economic change. From indigenous remedy to industrial product, from biological filtration system to family-friendly symbol, root beer has repeatedly shifted its meaning. It survived because it knew how to transform. In a world where technology and law constantly reshape our habits, root beer reminds us that products do not exist in isolation. They exist within networks of belief, regulation, and survival needs. Perhaps the most astonishing fact is not that Americans love root beer. It is that a drink once born to avoid disease became a global industrial symbol simply by changing the story it told about itself.